Hello, my name is Sandra Wick, Crop Production Agent with the Post-Rock District of K-State Research and Extension. As you can see, we have a winter wonderland back behind us. We are very thankful for the moisture, but please be careful out there. At least we don't have sub-zero temperatures right now. It's a balmy 30 degrees out here, I think, Blaire. So Blaire and I wanted to give you an update on our leasing arrangement survey that was just completed in December of 2023. So welcome to the Post-Rock Extension District. We recently, as I said, have compiled our 2023 leasing surveys arrangement. And so we wanted to give you a little information about some of the highlights of some of the leasing data that was returned. About 80 to 90% of Kansas farmland and pasture land is rented, and it's increasing each and every year around the state. This is our 12th year for conducting our Post-Rock District Leasing Arrangement Survey, and we would especially like to thank all the respondents that participated in completing the survey either online or in the mail. Without your input, this information would not be possible to provide to the producers of North Central Kansas and to the state of Kansas. So we had three components of our survey this year: cropland, pasture, and crop residue. So as I mentioned, we conducted it by email along with mailing paper copies. We randomly selected between 75 and 85 tenants or landowners in each of our counties of Jewell, Lincoln, Osborne, Smith, or Mitchell counties to obtain a representative sampling. So our return rate for the 2023 Post-Rock District Leasing Survey ranged from 16% up to 34%. So we are very pleased with that return. So let's start with the averages on the crop side on the leasing data that was returned. So we're going to specifically start with the cash rental rates. So if you are wanting specific averages or data for each of the specific counties, they are posted on our Post-Rock District website under the Crops tab and on the Livestock tab as well. So the dryland average cash rent was $74 per acre with the range of $30 up to $150. We do have some irrigated data, but some counties just didn't respond enough, and so we didn't have irrigated rates from each of the counties. So on the crop share side, with corn, sorghum, soybeans, and wheat, the predominant share, of course, was the traditional 1/3, 2/3, with about 75 to 80% of those respondents, with about 20 to 25% using the 40-60 share. The most important aspect or component to remember is to have equitable arrangements for both the tenant and the landowner.
So now we're going to move on to the livestock side of our leasing survey, and we're going to get started with pasture rates. The average pasture rental rate for the district was $27 per acre, and we had a range of $10 to $45 an acre, with the predominant grazing time being from May to November. The pasture stocking rate was generally 9 acres per pair, with a range of 7 to 10 acres per pair. And the lack of rainfall we experienced this year definitely impacted stocking rates. For the crop residue grazing rates, the average rental rate was at $11 per acre, and we had a range of $5 all the way up to $40 an acre. And this depended on the amount of residue, fencing, and water availability. Producers usually grazed their cattle for 2 or 3 months, which provided some much needed feed for the livestock herd this year. High nitrates found in crop residues also impacted availability of crop residues.
Okay, so that's the highlights for our leasing arrangement survey. If you would want complete copies of any of the reports from each of the counties, along with the Post-Rock District Summary Report, just visit our website at postrock.ksu.edu or stop by any of our offices in the Post-Rock District. The most important aspect of leasing arrangements is the date for notification of termination. This is especially for oral leases, which is only enforceable for 1 year. So this D-Day, or the date for notification, is January 29th or 30th prior to March 1st. So leases can be written or they can be oral, with written leases generally 3 to 5 years, with oral leases, like I mentioned, are only enforceable for 1 year.
We also want to remind viewers that the Post-Rock District Leasing Survey is only one resource for leasing arrangements and rates. There are a couple of other resources we can provide customers, either online or paper copies at any of our local offices in Beloit, Lincoln, Mankato, Osborne, or Smith Center.
So as Blaire mentioned, call any of our Post-Rock Extension District offices in Beloit, Lincoln, Mankato, Osborne, or Smith Center, and like our Facebook page. We are also on Twitter, YouTube, and Instagram. So several of our educational programs this winter are listed under the events. So please take a look at those and take an opportunity for any of those educational programs, whether it be livestock or crops. If you would like to get on our weekly ag newsletter, simply call our office, any of the offices, and just ask to be added to our weekly crops or livestock newsletter. So this has been Blaire Todd and Sandra Wick, and we will see you again out in the winter wonderland.